Are they really cooperating? I want to bring in Colette Seymore, Taylor Casey's mother, and also welcome Emily Williams, Taylor's friend. Thank you both for being with me tonight. Last time I saw you, we were all in the Bahamas, and I was really hoping that next time I talked to you both that you would have Taylor with you. Unfortunately, that is not the case right now. But I want to start with you, Colette, with this yoga retreat. It's called Sivananda Ashram. You went to the Bahamas. You went there from Chicago to do your own investigation. You went to this ashram. What did you find, Colette?
That the people were kind of evasive, and we went in and we talked to them, and it was just hard to get answers from them. I asked them, could we talk to the students and stuff, and they were telling us no, the students what, and it took them a while to say, okay, if the students want to talk to you guys. I wanted to speak to Hannah, the young lady that called me and told me that my child was missing on June 20th, and I thought for sure that when I got there, I would see her. And she was there on the premises because we asked, but they would not let me talk to Hannah. So I just thought that was kind of strange because I would think, if I reported to someone that their child was missing and they came to this yoga retreat, that would be the first person I would want to talk to. But they would not let me talk to Hannah, and she was on the premises. That was disturbing to me, very disturbing to me.
Yeah, and I mean, Taylor had been there since the beginning of June. She was part of this. It's not like she had just been there a couple of days. She was part of this community that is supposed to be very loving. And now you show up as her mother, and they basically, it sounds like they just sort of blew you off.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they said Hannah was in a class. I mean, but being in a class is more important than coming and talking to me about my child being missing. I really had a problem with that.
Did you see any posters? When I was there, I didn't see any missing posters.
Not a one. Not a one. Not a one. Not even in the criminal investigation department at the Royal Bahamas Police. It was a whole wall of missing persons. And Taylor was not on it.
Emily, what do you make of the police investigation? I mean, look, for some context here, the Bahamas' main industry is tourism. They obviously don't want people to be scared to go. They're already under a level 2 travel advisory from the State Department. Do you think that's interfering with a proper investigation here?
Absolutely, 100%. We heard repeatedly that things could not happen because they didn't want to disturb the tourists who are there. They didn't want to disturb the guests who were vacationing on the island. That was true when we went to the ashram, and they gave us a tour so we could see the place. And when we were there, just trying to understand where Taylor's tent was, where the beach was, where her phone was found, they said we were almost scolded when we were trying to take pictures of the premises, just time and time again from the authorities to make sure that we respect the guests' privacy. And the same is true, when we think that, we were not told that the entire premises of the ashram was searched. We were not told that the entire premises of the Atlantis Hotel was searched. And the reason that we were giving was that they wanted to respect the privacy of the guests because they were on vacation. And so we're asking, what's more important, Taylor's safety, finding Taylor, or people enjoying their vacation? Yeah. And so it seems clear to us that, yes, their concern about tourism will prevent them from alerting the tourists to danger that's potentially in their midst, which, as we outlined in the press release, could still be true because we don't know what happened to Taylor.
Do you know, Colette, the cell phone? A lot of people have been asking me about the cell phone. We know your granddaughter was able to see that Taylor's cell phone pinged in the ocean. Where exactly was it found? Do you know?
They said 56 feet out. you know, we asked how far was the phone in the water, and they said 56 feet. Yeah, and I thought that was
the thing that I worry about, why would anyone go in the ocean with their cell phone? I mean, it doesn't really make any sense.
That's what I want to know. That's what a lot doesn't make sense. You know, the answers that we got, they didn't make sense to me. They did not make sense to me. And it's just disturbing.
Yeah.
Disturbing that I had to come home without my child. And we need answers.
What did you find out, Emily? Because again, you guys have had to do your own investigation here in terms of witnesses. I mean, was there anyone else that saw anything strange around the time that Taylor went missing?
You know, when the ashram leadership finally allowed us to talk to some of the guests and participants who were willing to speak with us, there was one woman who they said was the last person to see Taylor. And that person had seen Taylor walking on the beach. That same person also told us that that very same day, a man walking from the direction of the Atlantis Hotel, fully clothed, in tennis shoes on the beach, approached her while she was sitting alone and said that he claimed to have been from Chicago and that he wanted to take a yoga class. So he followed her onto the property of the ashram. She went her way and he went another way. And then, you know, she said that she hadn't seen him again. So that's one thing that, you know, we think is strange. Also, while we were meeting with the ashram leadership, the manager of the ashram had said that the Monday before Taylor went missing, that there was a man with a walkie-talkie who was found on the platform where Taylor's tent was. Now, they said that when that man with the walkie-talkie saw an employee, he went in the other direction and walked off of the property. Ashram leadership said that they reported that to the Paradise Island Police. However, the Royal Bahamian Police Force, they never told us about that. And as far as we know, they have zero leads in this case.
Colette, what was your last conversation with Taylor like?
It was nice. Taylor called me and was like, hey, Ma, and sent a picture along with the picture with Taylor, you know, standing in the water and the waves with the beautiful water. The water is actually beautiful. And she said, I love you, Ma. And I said, I love you too, Taylor. And we were talking about yoga. And I sent Taylor a picture of, because we were on vacation, I sent Taylor a picture of us doing yoga. We were getting ready to actually go to a yoga class. So I sent Taylor a picture of all the mats and stuff and said, look, Taylor, we're doing yoga too. Yeah.
Well, listen, we're going to stay on the story, Colette and Emily. Please let us know if anything develops. I know there's a lot going on in the world right now and people are distracted, but again, like I said, people don't just vanish, and this is a story that deserves a lot of attention, and a lot of people vacation in the Caribbean. So we appreciate you coming on, and please let us know if there's any developments.
Okay, thank you so much,
much,
Brian.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider, and don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.